Welcome to another Junk Journal with Me episode. In this episode, I wanted to use some of the items I had bought at the Budapest Flea Market that I had just been at last weekend. So the first item I wanted to use was this beautiful vintage Kodak folder from 1927, and since it was quite torn up, I wanted to try to fix it in a way that wouldn't compromise the authenticity and to not pull attention from the original too much. So I chose a washi tape that had similar colors in this very pale yellow. And I started off by reinforcing this spine, and I added a bit of glue stick to make sure that washi really sticks down. And then I'm going to check which other areas of the folder still need a bit of repairing. So there's this one tear down at the bottom. And since I didn't want to change the original front of the folder, I made sure to only put washi on the inside to keep it looking as it should. And the last repair I'm gonna do is there at the top. There's a tear and I didn't want it to tear further, so I'm also just putting another washi there. And now it's good to go. So now I'm looking for a signature middle that I want to add this to. Once again, the beauty of having a flexible binding. I'm just loving this. So now I have the booklet in there. Love how that looks. And now I wanted to add some tags that I wanted to make with these liquor labels, vintage liquor labels that I also got at the flea market. And I'm choosing some that would work in the size and with the color for this folder. So I thought I was gonna go with these two, but I end up not using this cherry liquor one. I'm gonna use a different one instead. And I'm using this paper designer pad as a background for this yellow label. And if I find this, I'm not sure if I got it on Ali or Amazon or locally, I will look into that. I will of course link it below. So I wanted to choose this sunny yellow grungy one as a background, and I'm using my tearing ruler to have this beautiful torn edge. And by the way, one of the viewers was kind enough to send me a link and the brand of this ruler because I had got mine locally, and so many of you were asking where they can get one, and I haven't found an adequate substitute for this. But now with this link, I put it down below. It's I found exactly the same ruler on eBay. So if you want this one, please go check out the link. So all I'm doing is I'm gluing that onto the background, and I've inked up the edges, and I will actually change that later on. You will see. And so the second label I'm going to use is this beautiful tea rum label, which I'm going to put onto a tag that I'm going to make now. So I have this random cream cardstock, which actually has kind of like a glossy surface, which works well with this label because it had some shiny gold in it. This cardstock is from Action. I'm sure you can find similar cardstock on Ali or Amazon if you search for it. So I'm just cutting off the two corners and making them equal by putting the first cut off corner onto the other corner. And now I'm trying to see, first I'm checking if the size is right, because as you might know from my previous videos, that can go horribly wrong. And I wanted to put something underneath the label. It felt like it was too bare, so I'm taking out my cheesecloth and I will link that below as well. I got this one from Ali. I'm using it all the time. And I'm just tearing the edges so that they have this fringe on the side. And I'm gonna put that underneath. But before gluing, I wanted to add this amazing ruffle. So I've made this just recently following a tutorial by Treasure Books, and her name is Natasha, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this. Please check out her video. These are so fun. So these that you see here now are actually done with washi tape, and some others I have done with just scrap paper like these. They are so highly addictive, I warn you. And they can be used on tags, on journal pages. There's so many things you can do with these ruffles. They are awesome. So obviously I'm linking the video below. Please go check it out if you haven't seen it already and give it a try. So now I'm just trying to choose, do I want like a greenish turquoise or do I want a contrasting red for this tag? And I do end up choosing the contrast color just because I think it makes the tag more lively. And I just cut off a piece of this ruffle, and now I'm trying to find the perfect place for it, which I'm kind of struggling with. I cut out quite a bit of my struggling because there's no point in you watching me go back and forth and back and forth. So I end up putting it on the bottom. So now I'm gluing down the cheesecloth, and now I'm gonna just glue that label over it, and finally I'm gluing the ruffle down. In the video tutorial of this, she also shows you some examples of how you can use it. It's really a great video. Now I'm just going to punch a hole, and I will be adding a ribbon to that later, but first I'm adding a hole reinforcer. These were previously white, and I have just inked them with my Distress Oxide, and I really like the look of that. And now I'm just going to go around it and ink front and the back. And my original plan was to put it in that pocket, but then I wouldn't be able to put the ribbon in. So I decided to turn it around and to put the yellow one in the pocket, but I realized it was a bit too wide. So I decided to try to tear the edge to make it a little more narrow, and that kind of didn't go so well because, as you see here, it tore all the way to the label. So to salvage that, I decided to cut all around it with my scissors because there's no mistake that can't be fixed somehow. Now I could have just glued this again onto another cardstock, but actually I thought let's just leave it as it is because it's pretty enough on its own, and since it's backed with the cardstock now, it also has more of a stiffness to it. So now it fits into the pocket, and now I can also add the ribbon to this tag because on the right side it's not a closed pocket but it's more of like a tuck spot. So I chose this red one to mirror the red in the ruffle, so I think that kind of makes it look very cohesive. And that's the final tag, and of course it has spot to journal on the back. Both of those tags are journaling spots. So that's it for that little folder. Next, I'm looking for a page where I can add a tuck spot with this beautiful lace that also came from the flea market, and just trying to see which of those pages it works better, and I definitely like that right one better because it was a bit more calm. So I'm just cutting it down to the length of the page, and I'm going to just glue on those 3 sides of the page. Gluing the page is a lot easier than gluing the lace. I've had to learn that through many trials. And I had to add this amazing postcard from Florida from 1952. It's Hungarian, so I cannot read it, but I just love this retro postcard. So I'm just gonna stick that in there and not do anything else with it because it's gorgeous as it is. Next, I wanted to make a fabric pocket, and I have this beautiful tablecloth in Hungarian embroidery style, and as much as it pains me to cut it up, I just have to, because I know I'm never going to use this piece in my home as it is. So I would rather cut it up, make a pocket out of it, and bring me joy in my journal. So I'm just tearing it, and really think that is so cute. Just gonna fold that top edge down a bit, and gonna look for a page where it would come out best. Try a few here, and I end up choosing this green one. I don't know if you can really see, it's light green, and it's perfect size. So I decided to actually use my double-sided tape to tape down that top edge, and I should have also used the tape to tape down the pocket itself onto the page, but I didn't want to do that because I thought the tape was too wide and then the pocket wouldn't be wide enough. So I decided to go with liquid glue, which was not a good idea because, first of all, I think the way I put it on didn't really save a lot of space, and second of all, even when it was dry, you could still see it through the fabric, which wasn't very nice. So there you see it. It really shows through even when it's dry. So better to use double-sided tape. And then I had found this beautiful children's nature book, and I wanted to make a tag with this cute bird illustration, but I didn't want to cut it out of the book, so I made a copy. And my copy machine, or my printer, which is also a copier, kind of made it bigger and cut off a part of it. I don't know why it did that. I didn't tell it to. But I decided then to just use a part of it like this, and I used my Tim Holtz tag dies, which I'm gonna link below. I'm so happy with these. I got them at the craft fair recently. So I'm again attaching my hole reinforcers, and I also wanted to attach a phrase or a word or something to it, and I found this one, the sound of the wind in the trees. I couldn't read the word now, but I thought that was really nice, and it works really well with this tag since there is a part of a tree in it. And by the way, congratulations, dear Emma, for finally having your own words in a box, and yours are so much more organized. I love it. Emma has a video, and if we're lucky, she might share her her printed words with us. We'll see. I'm still working on that. If I manage before this video is uploaded, you will find the link below to Emma's video where she has it in her description box, but I don't know if we'll manage to get that in time for this video. She has some really nice ones. So I just again added some cheesecloth underneath that label just to give it another texture, and I'm using this scrap of the cheesecloth that I had cut off before, and I'm just gonna put that in there, and that's my tag. That of course also has a journaling spot in the back, which I'm gonna journal on off camera at some point. And then I'm also going to be adding this beautiful postcard, which has these very sweet cars from the late 1950s. And now I'm looking for a washi tape that would go with the color of that red car to make that stand out more. So I'm trying various options of red, and I end up going with this checkered one, which I believe is an AliExpress, and I will link it below as well. So I'm just gonna attach that with the same washi front and the back. And then I wanted to add something underneath that I would journal on, and I have this very, very cute page of a pad from that I received from Raisa. Thank you again, Raisa. It's so cute. And I believe she got it at Hema, which is, I think, a Dutch stationery store that we have now here in Vienna. I don't know how long, maybe a year or so. And it says, so it has this cute image of the bunny, and it says, don't forget, and I'm writing, don't forget every single day to be grateful for all the wonderful things and people in your life, especially when things go wrong or you are upset about something. Concentrate on the good, not the bad. And I journaled that because I was not having a great day, and I wanted to remind myself to focus on all the good things I have in my life instead of that one bad thing that was trying to ruin my day. I wouldn't let it. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. That I can tell.